Welcome to Obstacle Running Adventures.
Over the last 7 years, we have consistently released weekly episodes focusing on
obstacle course racing, running, and other adventures.
You'll hear interviews, event recaps, conversations about our sport,
quick news updates about happenings in our community.
And now, here are your hosts,
Standing on the corner,
Michael, Stefano, and Caitlin Ritter.
Hi guys, it's Caitlin.
And Mike. And Small Talk says episode 400. It only took 7 years and 8 months.
Wow.
That's a big chunk of life. There's a reason why I gelled my hair, looked nice. Caitlin got balloons, which was a nice surprise.
You look nice? Are you saying I don't look nice?
You look nice too. But it's one of those things where, like, I just celebrated turning 34 recently. And all I had to do for that was just, like, stay alive, which is its own difficulty in itself sometimes. But also, like, for this, I had to actively work towards something. So that's a big thing.
Seth, Render Connection wants to know, Mike, how was your weekend?
Correct. That is how we're supposed to start this. My weekend was good. We had a really fun day yesterday. We went to the Tipsy Toboggan, which is a bar Tipsy Seagull, which is the toboggan's the winter one, Seagull, which I thought, like, this doesn't exist. She's been talking about it since we've lived here.
No, since I started working in the district.
Yeah, in Fall River.
5 school years.
And so I finally went to it, and it was super nice. It was almost, like, too nice, the people there. There's, like, people with their yachts that are parking there and all that. But
okay,
it was
but,
fun.
like, that's, like, a very two different... You're either, like, a person on a boat.
Yep.
Or you're a person that walks in.
Yes.
And, like, there's obviously, like... We don't have a boat.
But it was a good weekend, Caitlin. How was your weekend?
It was good. You, like, glamorized yesterday. We ran a lot of errands, and then we went to the Tipsy Seagull.
I like running errands.
We started watching a terrible movie.
It's not terrible. It's definitely not the worst one on the movie list.
I might just not be smart enough to understand what is truly happening.
It's very simple.
I'm bored.
It's just slow.
Okay, maybe
it's
that's
slow. The minutes and minutes of scenes of them traveling just to show us,
how many times do we need to see the man on a camel? It could just be like 10 days later, and
if you took a shot for every man on a camel,
I'd be in the hospital.
It would kill many, many people.
Yeah,
yes.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Shout out to our sponsors, Mudgear. Use code ADVENTURE for 15% off your next Mudgear purchase. And Caterpie, use code OCRReport20 for 20% off your next Caterpie purchase.
Yeah, and since it's such a special occasion, usually the first of the month we shout out the the $3+ patron supporters, but we're going to shout out all of the patron supporters because we greatly appreciate them, and it's more work for Caitlin to do.
Your grandfather says the mic is covering Mike's face.
Oh.
So they can't see you in the video.
Apologies.
Jason Dupree, Kim DeVos, Samantha Thompson, Matt Putton, Bradley Keel, Charlotte Engelman, Erin Grindstaff, Laura and Stephen Ritter, Hank and Arlene Stefano, Kenny West, Cheryl Miller, Jessica Johnson, Scott the Fayne Knowles, Nick Riker, Christopher Hoover, Kevin Gregory Jr., Evan Irick, Ashley Rice,
yep.
Brent George.
She always messes us up because it says Metal Addict. Justin
Manning.
Yep.
Logan Nagel, Angela Bowers, Asa Connington, Thomas Peterson, Bonnie Wilson.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for the support. Present, previous, future supporters, greatly appreciate that. You get lots of behind-the-scenes stuff.
And if you want to support us, we're on Patreon for as little as $2 or as many as $10.
$10, yeah. What's next on the list?
OCR Report.
Yeah, shout out to the OCR Report for being a great home for us on the internets.
And to Will Hicks.
The Podfather. Check it out over at theocrreport.com. Caitlin, you seem like extra short. Do you want to boost your chair up a little bit?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I don't know why I do look extra short.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a giant. And
I think it might also be the way, like, we're in frame.
But your chair, look how significantly lower your chair is.
Well, I like when my feet can be flat on the floor.
You're not that short. Okay, if you're comfortable, I'm comfortable.
I am comfortable.
But you look like
Fran's
a small person.
waving. Hi, Fran.
Hey.
Oh, George Rucco is here, and B. George 71.
George Rucco. I don't know a George Rucco.
Oh, sorry.
Joe Rucco.
Joe.
And then we got Brent George. Yeah.
Joe.
Oh, hey, I know Logan Nagel. Logan Nagel's awesome. There's so many awesome people in the community. This is just like a small fragment, but we love you all. But yeah.
And now on to our sponsored athletes.
Yes.
Javier Escobar, Kellen
Helen Kellen.
Kelly Sullivan, Ryan Brizzalara, and Joshua Reed.
Yes, and we're waiting to hear back from another athlete to be our new potential sponsored athlete kind of thing, but wanted to wait back to hear from him. I was thinking of a woman, Caitlin was thinking of a guy. Maybe we could do both.
Maybe.
We'll see. There's no rules. We make up our own rules here, so that's the thing. But going back to the OCR report, they haven't plugged it much on Instagram, but we're doing a 30 days half September. Is that how it's called?
I have no idea what it's called.
Every day in September, the OCR report's going to be putting out, or one aspect of the OCR report's going to be putting out an episode. So I don't know it offhand if you want to pull it up. But Sunday is the OCR report. Will Hicks is bringing back the show. It sounds like he interviewed it. Nitty Gritty. See, this is the stuff that usually gets edited out. Nitty Gritty podcast. Monday, he has us for this, even though we release on Sunday. But it's Sunday night, so we'll count it as Monday. Who else counts for that? It's in the regular.
Oh, I got distracted. There's so many group messages.
It's like the thing where it's like you're playing on the phone, hey, look at this, and it's like someone that needed 911 services. It's a little blurry, but who do we have for Tuesday?
Tuesday is World's Toughest Podcast. So if you like Will Hicks's voice, it's coming
I
back.
miss it so much. Yeah. Wednesday?
OCR Talk.
Okay, that's Jason Dupree.
Thursday.
Is that Carlo and Fran?
No, it says OCR Report and then World's Toughest Podcast.
Okay, we'll figure that one out.
Friday, Fran and Carlo. They're becoming a podcast.
Yeah.
So
right now it's on YouTube. It's
very good.
It's very funny. I would prefer it when it gets on podcasts, but if you're into YouTube videos, you should watch it because Fran and Carlo are just not only amazing people, as most people are in the community, they're just very funny to watch them interact and everything. And I'm super excited to see both of you guys and many more of you at World's Toughest Mudder this year.
And then on Saturdays, it's going to alternate between Strength and Speed, Jack Goras, and Nitty Gritty Training.
Oh, okay.
Jack Goras is coming back with his podcast. How come Jack Goras is allowed to have a podcast by himself, but I can't?
You can. What are you going to talk about?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
The possibilities.
Movies that you heavily dislike. It's weird having you have the notes and not me. Now it's time for quick news?
Yes.
We're going to skip poll. We're going to skip poll and meme of the week and go right to quick news. Quick update. We have 2 more news stories, Caitlin.
Yes, congratulations to Scott the Fayne Knowles and his fiance.
I already have it pulled up. It's a Facebook news story. Yep.
Leanne posted, they say there's this thing called the 7-year itch. Well, the only itch I'm scratching is my fiance's / future husband's.
Yes, so congratulations to them. I apologize for not putting them in the show notes, or if it wasn't the show notes, we missed it. But definitely wanted to give a shout out for that exciting moment of your lives. Congratulations.
We love an engagement.
Also, we heard back about the whole sponsored athlete situation.
Yeah, do you want to give the people a drum roll? Kevin Gregory!
Yeah. Some people would be like, hey, isn't he more hybrid fitness? Yeah. But also, he's been someone that's been in the OCR community for a long time. Super great guy. Also great in hybrid, too. We're branching out a little bit more. We'll always be more of a OCR-focused show. But he's just a great dude. And what we look for in all sponsored athletes is people that... What, Caitlin?
Are kind. They're generous. They're good at what they do. Yeah,
it's people that fit the model of like what we'd like to. It's people that like represent what we value most in the OCR community. He's a fierce competitor, but also just a good dude who stops and cheers people on. I mean, it was just recently we had Mario Valentin on who talked about how he was cheering him on for the rig and this and that. He's just a very good guy. And he's just among some other great people. And we did just settle on having one person this year, right?
Yes.
And I think moving forward, we'll just do it like a yearly thing?
Every 100 episodes.
Okay.
Every time I have to go buy these balloons, we add somebody.
Okay. And then back to the pre-recorded or live aspect of the quick news. Starting with Savage Numbers update. Again, I'm phoneless because you guys are on there.
So this is going to be a little clunky, but this is how it is. Some people call me clunky.
Apologies.
Who did we call clunky?
Appa? Or Cat? It's very clunky.
No, we don't call him clunky. We called Mai Tai clunky.
Oh, Mai Tai was
what do we call Appa?
You find the thing. I'm going to go through so many friends from last week watching together. That makes me happy to hear.
Where are these Savage Numbers?
Obstacle Racing Media.
Obstacle Racing Media, aka our friend of the show, Mappy Davis, posted Savage Race has seen an overall reduction in participants in recent years. We did some analysis and have a full report right now on the website. And that also includes a conversation with CEO Sam Lloyd.
Sam, it would have been lovely if you were to come on here. They were who we were supposed to have for this episode, Sam and or Lloyd, but they refused to talk to us.
So in Boston,
it's confusing the way it's laid out.
What the heck? Who makes a graph this way?
Not Jack. not Jack Bauer.
So in Boston in 2023, there was 1,186 participants,
Yep.
and then in 2024 is 1,139 participants. So
Real
that's
quick,
only like a 40-person difference.
Small reduction. A lot of people are chalking that up to the Metallica concert that was happening. Like a lot of people going there. So I heard a lot of people didn't go to Savage because of the Metallica concert.
Oh.
Which is...
Wait, is Metallica the weekend I went to a concert too? I think it might have been.
It was a weekend to Savage, whenever that was.
Was that might have also... I didn't go to this concert, but that might have been... Boston, like Fenway was doing a concert series too.
Maybe. Chicago.
To Chicago. I love Chicago. 1,179 in 2023, and then in 2024... Oh, the number went up. 1,438.
That's good.
So then the people who weren't in Boston must have gone to Chicago.
Maybe.
And then in Pennsylvania in 2023, 1,387 people. And in 2024, 1,040. That's only like 400 people.
Yeah, so that's still big. That's a decent fraction of the numbers. But I think it's also important to notice, and I didn't read the full article yet, but these events are furthest from their home base. They started off in Florida earlier than I thought. I think they started in 2012. I didn't do my first one until like 2016. So those are like furthest from their reach. So if numbers aren't good there, the expectation is that they would shrink back. There's more context to it, so links down below for the full news story. We'll link out the article there. Next up.
And in some sad news.
Yes.
News.
This is the nose. This is news.
Dave Robinson's grandfather passed. He posted... Do you want me to read all of this?
Read a decent chunk.
Okay. He said... You are my hero. Thank you for your lessons and your stories, for how much life you packed into your years, for your adventurous and mischievous spirit, for your love of the country, the outdoors, nature, and water. And then he said, it's been one of the greatest gifts of my life being your only and thus number one grandson. I carry my nickname Dave with a great pride, knowing the original Dave Robinson is such a legend. I love you. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
I love you, buddy, Dave.
It is. If you could not hold on that, because this is going to fall over. Before this, he put out a video saying, my hero is about to die. And it's very upsetting to see that. My grandfather's watching. My grandfather and I are very close too. So I can only understand somewhat understand how upsetting that is for him. So shout out to him. And hope that he is doing well with the grieving process there.
Transitioning to DJ Fox news.
Oh my god, yes. So I've been tracking this for
you can
days.
talk about this.
Yeah, so I put it because it's over a bunch of posts. But DJ Fox finished the second FKT attempt of the Colorado Trail, which is 485 miles with 90,000 elevation gain and loss through the Rockies from Durango to Denver, Colorado. So the first attempt, because I said that this was the second attempt, the first attempt, he ended up in the hospital. So he said, hey, let's do this again. And it took him 172 hours, 37 minutes, and 38 seconds, which absolutely incredible. He had an amazing crew, which included Joshua Reed. I regret naming him because now I can't think of who else was there, but it takes an awesome crew to do that. So amazing, amazing work to DJ Fox, for those of you who are unfamiliar. Winner of World's Toughest Mudder one year, just all around great dude.
He came out of nowhere and won World's Toughest Mudder, I feel like.
That's the thing. Coming out of nowhere, I can see that being a little he paced himself properly. He was kind of slow at the start and kind of ramped himself up.
No, but I mean, leading up to the event, did people even know him?
He did well previous year, too.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, according to me.
And just a great dude. And, big fan of him. Next up, looked like autocorrect tried to throw me off on this one, but Amber Tate and Tara Jackson set a new women's team DECA Strong time of 10 minutes and 10 seconds. And this is the second time that I know of that we were supposed to... We wanted to go to Underdog Fitness, didn't go, and a world record was set there. But congratulations to them. That's awesome. I also don't know if I've met Tara Jackson in person before. I know we've had her on the show. And, congratulations to them. Also, sticking to Amber Tate, Pure Impact, run by Amber and Zach Tate, is expanding, and they put out a fun video of her doing kettlebell swings and letting go and trying to break down the wall. A little bit of the wall was broken, a whole lot more of the kettlebell was broken, so I thought that was pretty funny. And that's all we have for quick news.
5 secret links.
Yeah, so secret links, there'll be 5 of them down below. For those that don't know, I send myself from my personal account to the podcast account like funny videos and sometimes emotional videos, like lots of videos, and then over time I use like 5 of those at a time and put them into secret links. And there's some good stuff in there too. I think I'm back in like April with catching up on all those. But let's get to what this episode is all about. So we're celebrating 400 episodes with this live Q&A. And then in the middle, we're going to do a compilation of shoutouts that I just finished editing before we went live with this. It's a compilation of shoutouts we've gotten from other podcasts since we've recorded episode 300. Because if other
How long
shows...
is that?
Not that long. I edited them down a decent amount.
Are we listening to them here?
No. That's gonna be
okay.
That's gonna be on the podcast part itself, because that would be kind of boring of us just... That's too much people just talking about me while other people are watching me. But yeah, so these are all the shoutouts since episode 300. So this is something that I would do every 100 episodes. But I feel that if other shows are talking about us, we're doing something right. And honestly, it just feels good to hear that once in a while, you know? To put a lot of work into this. So let's get to the Q&A. I'm going to keep an eye on the comments.
Wait, I thought...
Can get to the... Oh, you want to do your thing?
Do you want me to wait?
No, you can do your... I don't know what your thing is. She said she wanted 15 minutes.
It's not going to be 15 minutes. But some of our friends would like to say congratulations.
Oh.
Starting with...
Should have got a water.
Our first friend. I told you this is going to be a little clunky because people sent them all different ways.
You didn't, save it in a...
I don't know how to do that. Our first friend is Jack Goras. Do I just play it?
Oh, this is audio clip?
Yeah.
Oh, there might be an easier way to do this, but okay, you can play it.
Congratulations from Chuck.
Thank you, Jack. It sounded very sincere.
Mike and Caitlin, congratulations on 400 episodes. 7+ years every single week. It's amazing. You guys are great.
Thanks, Will Hicks. That means a lot coming from him.
Hey guys, congratulations on 400 episodes. In a world full of podcasters who never make it past the first couple, you've made it to 400, and that's incredible. And I am honored to have been a part of more than one.
Love Dustin Dorough. He was one of the first race MCs that we met back in the day. 2013.
Hey guys, congratulations on 400 episodes. I will forever be incredibly impressed by, 1, not only how you managed to put out an episode every single week, but 2, the level of work and research that goes into these episodes. Incredibly impressive. You are doing an amazing thing for the community, and I applaud you. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Fran. Your accent is still untouchable, though. At least for me. Unless I'm gonna offend people, which I'm not going to right now.
Mike, congratulations on 400 episodes. That is an insane amount of time to do something so consistently. I don't think I've ever done anything that consistently in my life. So well done. Feel free to give it a break if you need to. Don't kill yourself.
I love you, Jason.
Wait, there's
I'm
more.
so excited to see all you guys. This is from the OCR report members. Who dis?
Congratulations on 400 episodes, Mike. Sure you didn't think you'd be doing this many when you started. I'm sure Caitlin didn't think that she'd have to be doing this many either. Congratulations, and here's to many more.
Oh my god, Mark, I miss you so much. And you are, oh my god, he has a little baby now?
I know, you sent me another picture of the baby.
He's been all out.
Hey Mike, and Preparis from Strength and Speed. Just wanted to say congratulations on a 400th episode. As a fellow podcast, I know how much time and effort it takes to make these podcasts. So want to say I really appreciate you. The OCR community is better for having you in it. Athletes are better for having you around. The community, the sport in general. Congratulations. Keep crushing it. Can't wait to listen to more of your episodes.
Who's cutting onions here? What the hell?
Are you getting emotional?
I just specifically said I don't want to sit here while people say nice things about me. It feels... Who's this now?
Congrats to Obstacle Running Adventures on 400 episodes from all of us here at OFX. 400 episodes is a hell of a lot. We figure it's going to be about 600 hours. If you wanted to listen to every episode from beginning to end, I think the best way you could do that is you could run WTM 25 times while listening.
Jesus
Christ. Or you could do rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon 23 times. Or you could do my personal favorite, a road trip all the way from Newfoundland in Canada to Alaska in the US of A, listening to every episode back to back. This is obviously what everybody should do, so I highly recommend it. Congrats again. Can't wait to hear more episodes.
I feel like no one road trips like Dave. Love hearing that. He's like, screw flying, it's a pain in the ass. I agree, I'm just going to drive there. And it's like, that's a very far away, Mr. Canada.
Hey Mike, it's Carlo. Just wanted to leave you a quick note saying congratulations on your 400th podcast. That's incredible, man. Especially considering the fact that you've done it all while getting married and going on trips and being a cat dad and going to school and all those incredible things you've been doing. So it makes it even more impressive. So just want to take a quick second and say congratulations. And great job.
Thank you, Carlo. That's very kind. There's more? How many more people do I know?
Hey, honey, guess what?
What?
It is the 400th episode of Obstacle Running Adventures.
Steve Bacon.
That's amazing.
How cool is that?
It's awesome.
I love those guys. Mike,
Congratulations.
Caitlin, they're awesome.
Nice job, guys.
They're awesome. And awesome karaoke singers.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Can't wait to do it again.
Have a great day.
Congratulations.
Oh, very kind.
But wait.
Oh God.
Do you hate this?
No, this is as long as the people listening don't hate it. It's just a lot of work has been put into this.
Wait. What? I'm having a malfunction. Wait. Oh, no. It needs to restart. Are you really emotional?
I got an eyelash in my eye as well. Actually. I'll hold it up so the camera can see it. Yeah.
Okay, ready? What the heck? Hold on.
Silence.
Hey, Mike, congratulations on your
My grandfather.
podcast episode. You and Caitlin have done an outstanding job promoting and showing your passion for obstacle course racing. Continued success with the podcast.
So when you were like, why is he calling you? And you're not answering.
I thought that was weird. I'm like, is my grandfather calling you? Yeah. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why did you hang up on him? She goes, oh, if it's a real emergency, he'll call you too. And so, like, to get you confused, I'm like, oh, he called me too.
Hey, Obstacle Running Adventures, congratulations on your 400th episode.
Erin Grindstaff,
I love what
Rost.
you guys are doing with the podcast. I miss you, and I can't wait to see you out in the mud sometime soon.
Oh my God, Erin, I miss you so much. I was actually just thinking about her, how like in 2020, we're like, we're going to keep in touch. We're going to play Jackbox games with each other. And then, like, things got busy. She has 2 kids now.
I know. She has 2 whole babies.
Oh my God, I miss you.
Mike, oh my God, 400 episodes. That's like more than I can count on my fingers. Congratulations, dude. You've been a staple in this world for a really, really long time. Thank you so much for everything you do. Love Bubbles. Mwah.
It feels like I'm at my own wake or something.
Is that how you really feel?
No, this feels good.
Okay, well, we're almost done.
Okay, we're almost done.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were going to hate this so much.
No, I don't hate it. It's just uncomfortable. I don't take compliments well, but I should. I need to, like, sit back and embrace that people appreciate all the work I've done.
Hey Mike, Scott Fayne Knowles here. I just wanted to congratulate you and Caitlin on making it to 400 episodes. That's an amazing achievement. You know, I was talking to you about this the other day. We both started our podcast in the same year, and I just hit 200 episodes. You've doubled the amount of work that I've done.
He's still killing it, though.
But that's another thing I admire and envy about your podcast is you put so much more time and effort and passion, and you have such an eye for detail for all of the editing, and that's something I could really use over here at I'm a Spartan podcast. But anyway, congratulations to the both of y'all, even if y'all do say "oh, funny."
Oil.
Oh, is that the word he was trying to say?
Yeah, he was talking about how he covered the wall with oil.
Oh.
Oil. But,
we have a few more.
Yeah,
we're really almost done.
No, that's okay. I love that he gets a lot of love, too. There were some posts in Spartan of Northeast, Southern, whatever, and they're like, what podcast should I listen to? And I wish we were brought up a little bit more, but I was very happy to see the amount that he was brought up. And so I put out like big one, like OFX, this, that, this. You know, there's a lot of good podcasts out there. Support them. I can't see who this one is.
Mike and Caitlin celebrating 400 episodes. Congratulations. You guys are incredible for continuing this podcast through great times, through difficult times, through all sorts of shit. A pandemic didn't stop you guys. So, congratulations. Really proud of you.
Thanks, Javier.
Our OG sponsored
I know.
athlete.
AKA Turbo Fart when he first introduced him. So what should we call you? Turbo Fart.
Hey guys, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you are
Kelly
getting
Sullivan?
to your 400th podcast
Me
episode.
either.
That is so amazing. My mind's blown. Congratulations on such an amazing time getting the 400th podcast episode. You guys are amazing. You're just a staple in the community, and it's so, so awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have 2 more.
Okay.
I think 2 more.
Okay. Oh yeah, it'd be worse if you someone sent something in and you forgot them. So
3
no pressure.
more.
Well, while we do questions, though, if you think of more.
Ready?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mike.
OG
400
MBD.
episodes. As you know, it's a long, long road, and only the strong survive. And to be this consistent for this long, just want to say
you're amazing.
And Stacie.
Oh, yeah, that's Stacie.
Congratulations, Mike and Caitlin.
So I'm also saying you will still never catch me. But great job. You've already caught me consistency-wise. You have done an episode every bloody week forever, and I've not done that. Love you guys, for real, for real. Talk soon.
Thanks, Matt. And honestly, we couldn't really get this started if it wasn't for him. He was someone that, way back in the day, I'm like, hey, how do I get this going? And he was nice enough to take the time to tell me how to kind of get this going. There's no way he thought that we would make it as long as we have. I don't think anyone could have predicted that. So that's pretty kind too. I don't know who
Obstacle Running Adventures, happy 400th episode.
Wow, Alex
That is
Youngworth.
awesome. Congratulations. This is Alex Youngworth. I remember when we were doing the very, very first episode back in 2017. And back then we couldn't even imagine that we would even make it 100 episodes, never mind 400. That takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and you guys have been just so consistent, which is something that people really value, especially in a podcasting type of world. I can't imagine the hard work that goes behind all of that. A lot of people don't see, they just listen to the episode. They don't know what goes into all of it behind the scenes. So, congratulations. Very excited for Obstacle Running Adventures. And here's to 400 more.
400 more, Alex.
400 more,
I don't know if I can do that.
Alex was one of the original co-hosts of the show, so it's funny to hear back from him. I know that when we recorded the first episode, there was a snowstorm, right?
He got in a car accident.
He got in a car accident with himself. He took a turn too fast or something, and then he lost his license plate, and he didn't bother to go find the license plate. I don't remember. It was a whole thing that happened, but I'm like, we're starting this. We're doing this. First.
Hey, Mike, it's Everett. Congratulations
Jimmy.
on your 400th podcast episode. I'm so proud how you started with very little and made this grow into something incredible. Continue to cover those OCRs. Continue to race those OCRs. And look forward to more. Love you, brother.
Thanks, Jamie. 2017.
Hi, Mike.
Oh, 2017, Angela and Jimmy, you can play it. Angela and Jimmy, were the main, because we weren't doing elite interviews and all that stuff back then, so we're just like, hey, you're traveling to all over the goddamn country. Tell us about how your experience was. So if it wasn't for them in 2017, it would have just been...
This is Angela. Congratulations on your 400th podcast episode with Obstacle Running Adventures. That is fantastic. I'm very happy for you. And of course, Caitlin, since she's your sidekick now with this for many years. Great job, though. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Even though they do sometimes get annoyed when I'm like, hey, let's talk about a recap. They're like, really? I'm like, we can drink. We can talk about it.
And that is, I think, everybody.
Well, that was a nice surprise. I was not expecting that whatsoever.
2 to go at the end as outtakes.
Oh, those are always fun.
Yeah, so...
Okay, excellent.
We'll add those at the end.
Okay, well, now that we lost all the people that were probably watching most of that, but that was very, very nice. Hopefully that showed up well in the episode itself, too. But let's get to some of the Q&A. So I'm going to keep an eye on the comments here to see if anyone's leaving anything there. And then you can check what people said in advance. Really wish I grabbed water. I'm getting thirsty with all of this talking.
That's what's making you thirsty now that it's 500 degrees in this office?
500 degrees. It is a little toasty. I will say that for sure.
Okay, the first question says, do you and Caitlin ever have to record when one of you is irritated or annoyed with the other?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember there was a big stretch, now I'm kind of used to it, but there was a big stretch 2017 to 2019-ish where I'd record the intro and what'd you think? I'm like, I fucking hated it. And she's like, do you want to record it again? I go, no. Because there's nothing worse than having to re-record something too, so that kind of stings. But also, we don't argue a lot.
No, but there have been times where I've been like, it's like 10:30 on a Sunday and I have to go to work the next day.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes it's later, too.
but I've learned that if I just like fake it and suck it up and pretend that I'm happy, I'm like, because if we have to do another take of this, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's really difficult to kind of do both. We got a question from Thomas Peterson here saying, what are the odds you'll come to World Champs in Sweden next year? It's unlikely to be as poorly organized as previously, thanks to Swedish experience. I was thinking the same thing, actually.
Is it during the summer?
If you could send the date. I'm trying to remember when it is. I'm thinking it's around this time. But I did hear it's in Sweden. I'm more optimistic about that. I am a little bit Swedish. I was saying Poco, but that's not... I don't know any Swedish language.
Yeah, send us the dates if it's during the summer. I would love to go.
I think it would be interesting to go and check that out.
Think of all this...
the first one was a shit show, as expected. The second one was more of a shit show than I'm not hoping for a shit show, but it is what it was. I think late August. So maybe we'll be free for that.
That would be fun.
But more important
we have passports now.
Yeah, but more important than giving FISO and World Obstacle, who I am not a big fan of, I want to meet a lot of you guys out there. Last time I went to Europe was freshman year of college, and
Whoa, we're going next year.
I don't remember much.
We're going this year in December.
Oh, that's true. December we're going to Italy for our late honeymoon. Yeah, so decent chance. I'm not too sure. Money, all this stuff we got to figure out. Time off, because you have the summer off. I don't, so we'd have to figure that out. But I would love to meet you. There's a lot of other people. Bless you. That I'd love to meet out there. And just more love for OCR in Europe, because as we commonly say, like, OCR is struggling here in North America. It's doing great over there. I'd love to give you guys some more love. Joe Rocco says, I've seen some polls on Instagram, but how do you decide who to have as guests on the show? Good question. So, ultimately, I'm going to come back to the answer, but like I pride ourselves in like a fast turnaround time. So if something happens this weekend, I'd like to have someone on from one of those events that weekend. I look through what events I give the most respect for, or ones that I haven't highlighted recently. And I look for people that haven't come on for their own episode yet.
Have we had Joe Recco on?
Yeah, not for his own episode, but we've definitely had him on.
Maybe that's my
first met him on World's Toughest Mudder, where I told him I didn't hate him, but for a few seconds I hated him because he beat out
Javier.
No, this was Josh Fiore.
Oh.
And Josh Fiore crossed the finish line thinking he got third, ended up getting fourth, and got like really emotional, but picked himself up. Was a man, said, "Hey, congratulations."
Whoa! A man. He was a good competitor.
Good sportsmanship.
Whoa,
I meant like not
I've
as
never
like, a
heard
child.
you be so.
It wasn't a sexist thing.
Gender biased.
Just like he got himself together. But anyway, that's where I met him, and like realized he's from the Northeast. Great dude. We met him at
Underdog Fitness.
You saw him at Underdog Fitness. Seen him at a bunch of other events. But yeah, typically I see for who hasn't been on for their own episode. Very rarely do I have the same people on for their own episode, because when it comes down to it, there's 52 weeks in a year, so that's 52 episodes. That's a lot. But then when you think I slate like at least 3 episodes to World's Toughest Mudder, we always have a roundtable at the beginning, the last 2 episodes, a recap. There's a lot of things that stack up, so when it comes down to it, there's only 20 to 30 episodes where I'm like,
we should have Joe Recco on for an episode, though.
Yes. But basically, I'm very careful with that. I think one of the only athletes that I've had on multiple times, Evan Perperis, because he's a good friend, and he does a lot of cool like charity adventure things, and I think those are really interesting. And he has his own podcast, so that cross promotion is pretty good too. Chris Rogloski, because she is ungodly with the amount of things that she's able to do, that I try to like hold myself back because she wins everything. I'm like, oh, I could have her on again, but I'm like, I want to spotlight someone else. So yeah, that's a really good question too. So there's a lot of things that go into it.
Perfect. The next question is, what are your favorite episodes that you have done?
Oh, God.
The first thing that comes to mind is our wedding.
Oh, that's a really good one, too. That's one of the yeah. Well, I mean, it's not
OCR that's
related.
A good one.
It's not OCR related, but I figured, like, if people have been listening for such a long time, they've really gotten to know us and kind of grow with us in a weird way. Like, I know how that, I was going to say parasympathetic.
Parasocial.
Thank you. Parasocial relationship goes, where I listen to a podcast and I feel that I know them well, and you guys do know us pretty well. You hear from us once a week, maybe less, but you hear from us a lot, and so I thought it'd be really cool to have you feel, with these events, we try to put you and make you feel like you're at World's Toughest Mudder. Well, I want you to feel that you're at our wedding. So that was a good episode. Other ones that stand out, oh my god, there's...
The Brain Freezer 5K was my personal favorite.
Yeah, that was a good interview that you did. World's Toughest Mudder episodes always hold a special place in my heart. And I just like listening back to just about any episode. When I listen to it, I can go back and remember like where it was standing, a lot of like aspects behind it. Putting me on the spot, I can't think of favorites though. But every once in a while something like comes together, I'm like, oh, this interview is going really, really well. That feels good. What you got?
Obstacle Race Dude wants to know what keeps you accountable. #, accountability corner.
Yeah, so I can't remember which of the 3 co-hosts he is there. But
Hi, Sophia.
What keeps me accountable is, it's just, especially in 2020, I think that's where I have to go the most, because that's where it's hardest to stay accountable for a lot of people, is that having the podcast kind of helped solidify, like, this has been a week, and that's been very helpful for me. I also feel that when I start to become inconsistent, like just like training, right? If you stop training or like you take too many days off, it's hard to kind of get back into the swing of things. So I never gave myself that opportunity to get a day off, really. So that, and I just feel that I am, as all those messages imply, I'm doing good for the community too. The sport has done so much for me, and I love the community. I love you guys. I wanted to do something to pay it forward, and so every week I sacrifice hours of my life to get something up for you guys, and usually it goes over well. Yeah. So that's what keeps me accountable.
OCR Directorate wants to know, of your guests, what 1 or 2 people were the most influential for you personally? And I'm only saying people's names when it's like not when they're like tag it or it's like an industry person.
Okay, and I did see this question a little bit in advance too, and one of the first things that come to my mind is Dave Robinson as like a mental health coach. I really liked him. That was a good episode talking about how to get through tough times, and how you phrase things verbally is how you mentally think. So that's very important too. Another one is Jesse Bruce. I've never dealt with drug addiction. I haven't been to prison, but I've been through some really dark times. Can't compare the two. They're very different, but seeing how, it's never too late to kind of bounce back and get your shit together. I really respect that man. So I really enjoyed that episode. I took a lot from that one. How about you?
There's your 2.
Okay, how about for you? Nothing? Brain Freezer 5K again.
No!
Spoke to you on a deep, deep level. What do you have? You saw these questions in advance. I didn't
read these in advance.
Oh, okay. Well, those are my 2.
Great job. What's something you'd like to improve on in podcasting over the next 50 to 100 episodes? You think we're going to make it to 500?
I do. I think we're going to make it to 500. I think it will be a little at a slower rate. More on that for like the patrons behind the scenes stuff. I'll announce things more to the end of the year. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep going. Thomas says, it's easier to keep an everyday habit than a 3 times a week habit. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you have planned for the next 100 episodes, both podcast?
Wait a minute, I didn't answer the last one. Like, what should we improve on? I think over the past year, I think the quality has fell a little bit in terms of me like preparing for interviews. I know that Bracken and Kirk always tease. I take it a little personally, but it's also a critique that like it's fair. Is that like I prepare a lot for the interviews and I don't kind of go with the flow. Sometimes I feel like I'm unprepared for the interview and I'm kind of like rushing out an episode. So I think take more time for quality. I look back, I think 2022, and no offense to like any of the guests. If you've been on the show, there's a reason you were on the show. I wanted to have you on the show. But I think 2022 was our best year in terms of like quality. I look back to, we were doing a long drive, or maybe it was 2023, listening to the like most important like moments of each episode. I'm like, damn, we had that person on, That was really great. So I think improving quality a little bit, maybe, this mic isn't the best. It looks very nice. Maybe that quality could get better. I don't know if I'm ever going to invest too much more in that. But where we could improve the most is just downloads. Like, we need more people to tell their friends, because the more people that are listening, it's more... There's a lot of work that goes into this, and it feels good when the numbers go up. All right, I feel like I answered it now.
What do you have planned for the next 100 episodes, both podcastly and personally? Podcastedly.
Personally, I work towards, and this has been something that's no stranger to a lot of people, I'm trying to work on a better balance in my personal life, see more friends, see more family. And then podcast, again, still just working on some element of consistency. I'm trying to dance around things a little bit there. But I want to continue to make a difference in the community. Going back to, I think, an episode that hit the hardest with the community was when I had Anthony Kunkel on. Like, it felt really good to have him on, and when he, like, talked that big talk and he was super confident about, like, hitting 100 miles or, like, crushing 100 miles, and he didn't get it, like, I'm not happy that he didn't get it, but, like, it felt good to be at World's Toughest Mudder and hear people talking about that. Like, oh, I heard your episode. Like, that felt good. I don't know if that was a tangent. Yeah.
What races do you have plans that are coming up?
First and foremost, next weekend is Boulder Dash. It is their final Boulder Dash OCR. That's what I was told to say. And that is... They've been going since 2011. And told to say as in, like, the wording of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we'll be going to that. I've been going to most of them since they've been around. I think my first one was, like, 2013. They had, like, the beach race and this race. And just numbers have been down. And so I'm going to go there and support them. I usually go there and volunteer. And over the years, I noticed, like, oh, is that all the runners? That's it? So this time I'm not going to be volunteering, so I can do a better job covering it, running a lap or two. It's kind of confusing. There's, like, 2 or 3 different races going on. I'm not entirely sure, but we're going to be there for that. So that's going to be the first event coming up. Let me check my schedule to see what else so I can give her a more proper answer. Caitlin, minimize things so I can't do my typical...
You stress me out.
Swipey swipe. Yeah, this is... it's kind of like a aspect of a little bit of my...
Your OCD?
How cluttered my mind can get sometimes if it's not organized. But yeah, Boulder Dash. I guess really not much for the end of the year. Bridgewater Police 5K, I need to decide on for. I do that just about every year. Rugged Maniac, if they were still around. Damn it. What else we got here? World's Toughest Mudder. I'm going to be there. Caitlin's not going to be there. I still have to figure out, like, flight information, but definitely planning to be there. I was hoping to do the Survival of the Fittest 30-hour trail ultra. I'm not ready for that. I don't want to hurt myself more than my Achilles.
I feel like you are ready for that.
I've been doing, like, 6... The longest I've gone is, like, 6 miles.
Okay.
And I'm not, like, young. I can't just fake it anymore. And my Achilles tendonitis is, like, becoming a little bit of an issue.
Can we just talk about how Mike has a spreadsheet of all the races that he...
All the races I've ever done, too. Yeah.
And then it has, like, things that, like, we have, like, a baby shower. We have a wedding coming up.
Yeah. But then...
He blacks out the Pokemon Go community days.
That's good to know. I want to miss that. I want to get my nerd on, too. Also, one more event that I'm registered for, unless you're, like, hyper-local. You're probably not going to see me there. But the Frosty Half Marathon, I signed up for that. That was my first half marathon. We keep this in the office. 2015. This predates the show. I didn't think this through. It says, Caleb wrote me and it says, I date a runner because all other athletes are players. Frosty half, Mike's first half marathon, and then 12, 13, 15. So I'm going back to run that again. Now that's hyper local. It's the next town over, so that's pretty cool.
How come you didn't make me a sign when I ran my first half marathon?
Because I was doing interviews and stuff. Right? I got there to the and you said you wouldn't cry. But those are the events I have planned coming up. We went to a lot earlier this year, kind of slowing down a little bit for the back half of the year. I'm mainly looking for a lot of, like, trail races so I can get my trail legs back, but not too much OCR. Natticook Challenge, I hope to make it there. I think that's in October. Yeah, there's other things, but that's what we have really planned out.
Why did you start a podcast, and how did Caitlin get involved?
Okay, so I started the podcast because I wanted to pay it forward. From 2013 to 2019, I had, like, a race team, which was, like, M. Stefano running, which was a little selfishly named. But I wanted a group of people to, like, help hold each other accountable. Like, hey, you do road races? I'll try out one of those fangled road races, and you do an OCR, and just kind of keep people accountable. And we had, like, great teams. We had, like, 11 people go to Killington, and it took us, like, 11 and a half hours, something crazy like that. And
that was, like, when Killington was crazy,
Love that. It's still pretty crazy, but yeah, it used to be a lot longer. And now I wanted to switch. Alex sent me something saying, like, hey, like, does these podcasts. I didn't really listen to podcasts back then. Now I listen to podcasts all of the time.
All of the time. It's so annoying.
But now I have like headphones I wear around the house.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't, and then I have to pause when I'm listening.
Well, I'm going around doing errands around the house and stuff. It's
like,
nice.
Errands around the house.
And was it chores? Yeah. And yeah, so I just started doing it, and I thought it'd be a cool way to kind of pay it forward. It initially started off as like a time capsule, right? So I was thinking that it was one of those things that it'd be fun to talk about this period of our lives eventually, like when I'm older, whenever that, I don't know what would you want to define as older, 80, I guess.
You're gonna live to 80?
Yeah, that's why I don't want to say anything.
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes.
But to go back and listen and like, oh, wasn't that super fun how we did this with friends? And then in 2018, I was drunk at a wedding in New Jersey, and I'm like, hey, the City Field Spartan is in like 6 hours. I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up super early, and interview the elites and see how that goes. And I interviewed Bracken Crocker, Ryan Kent, and Isaiah Vidal all at the finish line, and it was nervous as all hell. I'm sure that one doesn't hold up well, but I just started doing it more and more, and I just thought it was like a really cool way to pay it forward. Obstacle Racing Media has been doing that thing for a very long time. I think Heather was doing her thing on the West Coast. I'm like, I want an East Coast version of that. We have so much happening in New England, not so much anymore, that I wanted to really like prioritize, like, hey, we got awesome athletes here, awesome events. Now it's a little harder because we still have some awesome people, but the awesome events are less now.
And how did Caitlin get involved?
Oh, you can answer that. I feel like I've been the only one talking. You answer.
How did I get involved? I feel like your like co-host that you were supposed to cycle through stopped cycling through, and then we live together. We are in a relationship, so like...
So I can go back. I have stats on a lot of stuff. The first episode, the co-hosts were me, Caitlin, Alex, CJ. The second episode was just me. And then for the next few episodes, it was Mike and Caitlin. And then episode 7 was me and Alex. And then back to me and Caitlin.
Yeah,
me, Caitlin,
so I was kind of...
maybe. Olivia jumped in a little bit. But Caitlin's been consistently the co-host since episode... What's that? 93.
Yes.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's nice to do together, I guess. I'm just kidding. It is nice. If you didn't have a podcast on OCR, what would your podcasts be about?
Video games. Video games, but like not something people would be listening to. Because I'm not very up to date with everything. I'm going back, like right now I'm playing PlayStation 2 games. I'm going back through the backlog. Which I love video games, but also stresses me out that I have such a big backlog. So all of this year I'm going... I think I bought one video game, but I'm not buying any video games for the most part and just trying to work on my backlog. But video games is my second biggest passion, I would say. What would yours be?
I think it'd be like a Jack Goras style where I just like ramble to myself for a half hour.
Yeah.
Maybe have some guests. And then like maybe one week we talk about...
Throwing phones. You could talk about throwing phones. How far can you... how many times can you make it bounce?
Like, I think it would be one of those things where, like, maybe some days we talk about, like, what's happening with Taylor Swift, and then, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the difficult thing about that podcast is, like, you really have to like the host to, like basically
people wouldn't like me.
Well, people don't know who the hell you are when you start a podcast. So you need to, like, find a niche and then expand from there. Like, Matthew Davis had obstacle racing, and then he kind of, like, backed out and was like, wrestling, this and that. But you really have to like the person to have a podcast that's just about randomness. Like, you can't have, like, randomness, the podcast, and have it successful unless you have, like, a name for yourself first.
Yeah, so mine would not be good.
You did OCR Coven with
I did,
Kim.
that's
that was
true.
A cool thing back
that was
in
a cool thing.
Now there's one that's more frequent. I forgot the name of it, but I saw it recently. That I'm like,
and I've done
like,
World Stuff is Curling.
Yeah, so you've been on that. Yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm on, like, the niche ones, not the other ones. We've heard audio from your engagement and wedding. If you have a baby, will we get audio?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, totally. She won't know it, but we like secretly have audio.
I don't think you're legally allowed to do that.
In California, you can. In Massachusetts, I'm pretty sure you can.
Massachusetts doesn't have, what is it, two-party consent?
Yeah, something like that. Well, that's actually over the phones. I don't know. But yeah, it's up to me. I would get audio. I mean, I'm not gonna... There's certain noises that would edit out or something.
It is illegal to secretly record a conversation in Massachusetts, whether it is in person, by phone, or another medium.
What if I edit out, like, the conversation part? Just keep the...
There are some exceptions to the two-party consent law, such as when all parties are aware of the recording.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, it'd be cool to have everyone at the wedding when they can't be at the wedding. It's a little weirder to be, like, in the birthing room, but...
I'm gonna be like, you know what? If we ever,
whenever that happens,
if we ever have a baby, we're not pregnant, but
yeah.
I'm gonna be like, you know what? I've decided I just want me, the doctor, the nurses.
I mean, going back to Joe DeSena back in the day, he had Rose Wetzel like interviewed her while she was giving birth. That's a little much, but that was definitely a thing that
absolutely
happens.
Not.
Noel Medina says, "Hey, happy birthday or anniversary. Either way, here's a cake. Thank you. I will eat some cake. I don't know if we have any cake in the fridge. It's not good anymore, I don't think." Caitlin made this bomb dirt cake, and I'm like, we could do like an OCR cake.
I made the dirt cake because I was going to like a party.
Right, and then she left, and then I ate a lot of it. And I'm sure my coach was like, "You're eating a lot of cake now." He didn't say anything yet, but kind of throws off the macros a little bit there.
Your grandfather said, "Happy 400th episode. You and Caitlin do a great job. Keep up the awesome work."
Thank you. It means a lot.
And then the next question is there anyone that still starstrucks you?
Ooh, good question.
Lindsay Webster.
Okay, is that your answer?
She complimented me once, and ever since she complimented me, I'm just like, oh, Lindsay Webster.
That's a good answer. I'm going to say over her, Ryan Atkins, because I don't know if it's so much starstruck, but Lindsay, I know I'm going to have like a good conversation with because she's, not saying that Ryan's not fun, but she's fun, she's easy to talk to, this and that. Ryan's a great guy. He's a tough interview. He's a very tough interview. Because he's like a little quiet. I had to like purposely say something that I knew he would disagree with in order to like get more of a conversation going with him. Who else starstruck me? Des Linden, when I had her on the show. That definitely starstruck me. I respect all of the people that I talk to, but I think I've gotten to the point where like you're a regular dude that's like super good at training, but like I know we're kind of even playing field. You know, we all put our pants on the same way, isn't it like one of the expressions or something?
Do we? How do you put your pants on?
I
no, not
hold them up by pins and I jump in them. That's how everyone does it, right? I just thought of the weirdest thing I could think of. That's not how I put pants on. Who have you been starstruck with?
I just told you.
Oh, Lindsay. Yeah, that's a good answer. Lindsay, yeah. Atkins.
I feel more awkward than anything.
Yeah. It's tough, like, doing interviews in general, like I have to get into like the swing of things. Like the first interview that either of us do at like a live place is usually kind of crappy too, so apologies for you did an interview. I know exactly what you're gonna say. You were doing interviews at the Wildwood, I think it was like the 10K. The Mudhen 10K, because I did interviews for the half marathon. And
it was so
she
bad.
thought the guy that took a podium placement was from New Jersey. So she said, "Oh, you're from New Jersey. What's your favorite diner?" He's like, "Oh, I'm not from New Jersey." And she's like, "Okay, thank you." And she left the man. I don't think you talked about the damn race. Nothing. You just want to talk about diners. And the
he
man
threw me so off.
Just by saying, "I'm not from New Jersey." Like, he could still like diners.
I know.
That was, I think, probably one of the worst interviews. That must have been the worst interview. Yeah.
And then our last question is, where will we see you two next?
Where will you see us two next? Depends on where you live. I'd say the majority are going to see us at World's Toughest Mudder. They're going to see me at World's Toughest Mudder. Where are they going to see both of us?
Is World's Toughest Mudder a long weekend? Or no, right? They switched that.
World's Toughest Mudder next year, though, in England. I'm like super excited about that. Definitely plan to go to that, which would make it like 2 trips. Oh my god, that's in June. And then FISO's World Obstacle OCRWC is in August. That's kind of a lot. Like 2 trips to Europe next year? That'd be pretty cool. You got like hair in your nose. It's been bothering me. Now it's floating off my nose. So I don't know where you'll see both of us this year. Kaylin admittedly doesn't really do as much OCR or like travel as much anymore. So I don't know. Is there anywhere that you're going? We went to the Boston Spartan weekend. I think that's the only place we've kind of gone together in months for OCR, right? Yeah. So, I don't know, but keep in touch all the same, whoever said that. And any other questions?
No, but Mike, what did you say you wanted to eat?
Cake. Did you get me a cake? Hold on, let me check. Because again, my phone's doing the live thing right now. We also got a question from someone else in a different way. But Caitlin exited out of it, so it's going to be tougher for me to see. But all the same, I'm going to narrate this to keep it interesting. Wasn't Caitlin doing World Stuff Smarter this year? Yes, she was supposed to. Sorry if your spelling is off. Never apologize for your spelling. You know thousands of words more than me. I do not know Danish? It's gotta be Danish, right? Yeah. This doesn't sound like cake. It sounds like a... Oh! It's a cookie cake! It's a cookie cake. This is part of your errands? Did you finish those errands?
I did.
What does it say? Happy 400th. 400th what?
Episode.
Oh, and it's the podcast colors.
Yeah.
Well done, Caitlin. You got a question? Oh, the spelling of her name. Yeah, no, that's not how you spell it, but that's okay.
Why is Caitlin... Oh, they want to see the cookie. Why is Caitlin not running World Stuff is Mutter this year? Because Caitlin... Why am I talking like this? Because
Caitlin eat cookie cake.
Right. I am a public school teacher and I get 3 personal days a year, and I have to use 2 personal days for a wedding, like the week before World Stuff is Mutter, because I'm the maid of honor.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Stop it. We're really excited for her.
Yes, we are.
And we love Kurt. And, like, I just feel like I can't do World Stuff is Mutter. And...
Yeah, so you only get 3 personal days. That takes up, like, 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and I can't have 0 personal days before November ends.
But a much better chance in England, right? Because you're going to have that time off.
Yes, I'm so excited to go to England.
So you need a coach. Accountability just cornered. You need to be accountable.
Charlotte Engelman goes, so I hear WTM England.
Yes. So that's the plan. I'm going to go and I'm going to cover the shit out of it. And Caitlin's going to run it. And she's going to get at least how much?
30 miles? 25 miles?
At least 35 miles.
35?
To get...
30?
That's how much Alex got, I think.
No, he only got 30.
Okay, well, she wants more than Alex. So yes, absolutely.
And then I get a puppy.
Yes, and it said if she doesn't get it, she has to take my last name, and if she does get it, we'll get a puppy or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So this was another question that was sent in when I said episode 400 ideas. Jonathan Stern wrote in. It said, top lessons about OCR or life that you have learned from interviewing all these people. That's a good one. So not the whole episode, but and so that is a question, as I almost dropped Caitlin's phone. That's a slippery phone. Top things that I've learned is just we're all people. It's a really lame thing to say, but the most awesome athletes. Des Linden, who runs the Boston Marathon, I couldn't imagine. Just a regular person.
She's an Olympian too.
Olympic athlete. We've had a few Olympic athletes, some Paralympic athletes on. Ryan Atkins, Lindsay Webster, all these amazing people. They're just regular people that go through a lot of the same shit that we do. I've had a lot of conversations off the mic. Eden Matilda Seensgard, we will do the interview, we'll stop recording, and we'll just talk about life. They're all regular people, and that's what makes this sport so awesome. I think as sports get more recognition, I don't know what that changes. I don't think OCR would ever lose that. I hope not. But when you think of football players,
Mike,
I mean, Jamal, what?
This has said
004?
004 this whole... You realize that you didn't say
That's okay. That's okay.
This isn't James Bond.
004. Yeah, we're actually celebrating episode 4, which was Blizzard Blast with Fred Smith.
Have you ever put your head in a balloon?
Released on July 28th or 29th of 2017.
Why didn't you say something if you've noticed?
There's so many other things I'm focusing on as well. Let me try to answer this man's question. But yeah, we're all regular people. The elites, the weekend warriors. I enjoy talking to everybody. How have I taken that into my regular day life? I look at people like Paul LaChance, who is 83-ish, I believe. And that's really annoying to listen to. And he's still crushing it. And he's not letting age be a factor. I've interviewed people who, Dirty D and her sister, who are dealing with dwarfism, right? Is that what's dwarfism? Yes. And they don't use that as an excuse. It just, there's so many awesome people here that no real excuses. Stay accountable. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're into knitting, you knit the shit out of a sweater. You do the best you can in whatever you're interested in. And that's definitely what I've taken the most from the podcast, from the athletes, from the interviews. And just we're all suffering and trying to get better. I know Bracken and Kirk like to say we all have the same goal, get to the finish line and faster. And I think that's bullshit.
Is the finish line death?
No.
Oh.
We're not speedrunning life, Caitlin.
I thought we were talking about life lessons.
But no, it's not about that. Some people, like, again, I maintain that I'm more interested in the adventure of getting to the finish line than running competitively. And that's okay. That's totally fine. It's different for some people. Some people have trouble comprehending that. Caitlin, the numbers are fine. We'll use it for the picture. It'll be fine. But yeah, that's what I've learned. What have you learned from doing this? She learned she don't talk too good.
No, I think...
Oh, and just the amount of people we've met because of this podcast, because I'm going to keep saying it, I don't care if you're tired of it, the people in this community are so awesome, but when you have like a mic in hand, it gives you more of an excuse to talk to more people too, and it's just opened up the door. Not that like everyone's approachable. Like, I keep going to Lindsay, and yeah, it gets like they're always approachable, but like it's been very cool to be like open to the community, and we're trying to pay it forward, and it's this ongoing relationship, I think, with it.
So what was the question? I was so distracted by the
I know. Doing interviews, like, what have you learned from all of this?
That everybody has a story to tell, and you just have to give people, like, the outlet to tell their story.
Right. And there's just, I'm interested in everybody's story, which, on one hand, makes our job a little bit easier. I know that primarily we focus a lot on the elites and stuff like that, too, but there's an upcoming episode that we're planning to do where a woman has run every street in Boston. She's not an elite athlete or anything like that. But that's a cool thing to talk about. So yeah, that's the kind of things that we've learned. I don't know when I was going to put in all of the episode 400, like all the like shoutouts and stuff like that, but maybe that'll go here.
Talking about The Office with Mike and Caitlin and all that fun stuff. So I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, hour 36.
And then again, another final shout out to Obstacle Running Adventures. Appreciate him doing this link up and all the work he's doing out in the Northeast over there.
He's such a fine, outstanding gentleman. I'm sure he wouldn't say that.
Well,
you know how many times I've asked Corey for an interview 2 times, and he's ducked me 2 times. And he spoke. Oh. He spoke to Mike on Obstacle Running Adventures, at World's Toughest Mudder last year.
Yeah.
And I've asked him for exclusive interviews, and he's denied me. And I think he'd be a good interview because he's a good chatty person.
Yeah, he would be.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll be East Coast next year, so I'm sure I will be involved as a vendor or something. I'll be involved in something for the expo for next year. So
you will be. You will be. That's
keep it going. You need to keep it going
in September. Yeah.
Sounds good. Wanted to give a quick shout out to Mike Stefano from Obstacle Running Adventures. If anyone wants more podcast content, please head over to Obstacle Running Adventures. They're a staple brand there in the Northeast. And I know he'll be at the expo as well. And he's also the one who did this intro to allow us to do this podcast. So as we mentioned earlier, the importance of relationships, pays off again there.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh my God, who came third?
The men or women?
Women.
Jamie
Hornopoulos.
Yeah. Yep.
She was on Obstacle Running Adventures, and I just listened on the my commute home, and she said her bra got stuck in the
yeah.
So she said the same thing.
There's little clips like, can you imagine the things that get stuck on that? It looked awful.
More of our wonderful sponsors other than VJ Shoes. But really, go out and buy some VJ Shoes. I'm wearing some right now. They look beautiful. I'm also wearing Mudgear socks, who is not sponsoring this episode, but god damn it, do I love Mudgear socks. Right now, keeping it black and orange. Shout out Mike and Caitlin. Let's get on with this little chat.
At the bare minimum, we should know who won the race, right? And so I was like, well, I could just, start a Twitter account and just do that myself kind of thing. I was like, what do we call it? Oh, okay. And then I had like this whole thing, but I was like, let's just do race results. And then we got together with Jason Dupree and Heather Olson, Kim DeVos, and Mike Stefano and I, Caitlin Ritter. We got together and we all had podcasts. So OCR podcasts. Like, hey, let's just have a little collab thing, and under the banner of the OCR report, and we'll do race results, we'll do our podcasts, and let's just kind of get it all out there and kind of promote each other.
I don't care, man. World's Toughest Mudder's fun if all you do is just go out there and walk. So
yeah, it is.
And Mike from Obstacle Running Adventures, I think he pretty much told me that he walked most of the year he did it, and he was out there for the whole 24 hours, but he got 50 miles.
Yeah, it'd be a long fucking 24 hours.
We can do it, Mike.
Yeah, not if you're messing around having fun. Y'all can do it.
Yeah. And Brian wanted a chicken shit. He could come down here. Man,
I don't know. He's clearly mad at me. I clearly posted a clickbait, unacceptable post. So, Kempson, still love you, brother. If anybody's listening, that's what happened, okay? And he said something to VJ or to me he said on my podcast and on Obstacle Running Adventures podcast something like you shouldn't even show up if you're not trained for it. Like if VJ says he's been training for other stuff, so you shouldn't show up if you're not trained for it.
You can check those out. Also want to give a shout out to Obstacle Running Adventures. You can check out their most recent episode. They had Rachel Waters on, who's one of my teammates who went to Hannibal Race with me. I actually haven't finished the episode yet. But at the beginning of the episode, Mike gave a shout out to my mom. If anyone was following my Facebook page, my mom passed away from cancer about 2 weeks ago as of this recording.
Coming out. The big names aren't. They've just moved on to other things. And it doesn't mean it's dead. The next wave could carry it. Yeah. But it feels very, very bizarre.
And what about on the sort of independent race side of things? Because I saw on the other day on, is it Running Obstacle Media or whatever it is called? Is it Viking Race or something? It was its last one. And I saw some videos that he put up on that. And that looked banging. I don't know if you guys saw some of the videos on that, but some of the
technical obstacles, yeah.
Yeah, it looked dense. It looked like there was loads of really cool obstacles. It looked like something that we'd really love to see over in the UK. But that's their last one over there. So, you know.
Yeah, we lost that. Mud Guts and Glory is another one of our courses.
A good time. If you're not listening to his show, I Am a Spartan podcast, he's got good guests. He has a good time. And he says that, I think, on this show, when I go on one of my famous coffee breaks, there's nobody that hosts a podcast that's done as many Spartan races as he has, right? Mike and Caitlin, they've done a ton. Not as much as this guy.
The OCR podcast for the Midwest, because there's no other Midwest-based OCR podcasts that I know of. There are podcasts that are based in different areas of the country. East Coast, right? Yeah, our Northeast, you have Obstacle Running Adventures, Obstacle Racing Medias in the Southeast, although they tend to cover a little more national stuff. But I always felt like I was kind of like the Midwest representative. So it was kind of, I was carrying that burden / whatever you want to call it, carrying that torch. In summer 2024, I will move. I'm moving to the East Coast, essentially to the Northeast. We're Boston. So I'm going to be closer to Mike Stefano from Obstacle Running Adventures. So with me out of the Midwest, there's, if I move to the Northeast and continue to do the same thing I'm doing now, I feel like I'll be kind of, not necessarily stepping on his toes, but I feel like I'll be producing the same content or very similar content that Mike is already doing a great job producing. So that's another reason for the changeover.
One of these days, I'm going to get Corey to do an interview with me, but he's chicken shit. So.
I got Corey on for a few minutes in Alula. I think I put the mic in his hand.
Matt, and Mike did at Obstacle Running Adventures too.
Drinking fucking Coke at fucking 10 in the morning on a Saturday.
It's caffeine free. I've already had
listen, because I think Obstacle Running Adventures put the recording up on their podcast, and I listened back to it. I don't know if it was the audio or what. I personally don't think it sounded that good. I was
it did in person. It was lovely in person. Yeah.
Thank you. But it was, regardless, it was just such a.
Also, this will be my last episode for the year. But on Thursday, I'm going to be recording with Obstacle Running Adventures. Michael always hosts kind of like an OCR podcast roundtable where we all get together and just chat about things that's going on throughout the year. And Michael always does a great job, and he always does some really good questions, and he does all the work. And I look forward to doing it every year. So make sure you check that out. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out this Sunday. If not this Sunday, probably next Sunday. But make sure you check that out. And here's the interview with Andy Morris.
But less annoying work, like scheduling people is but I think I'm going to have an interview later this week, Dustin. Still doing some, but you guys do the interviews. You guys, Matt Davis, Obstacle Running Adventures. Who else does interviews? They all do interviews. They all talk on the same people. I talked about the language in running, and it should be an interesting conversation to have with you guys.
Yeah, and they still won. Congratulations. The guys did a great job. Also, congrats second place to Heather White and Kelly Sullivan. Heather, our Team OFX girl. Kelly Sullivan, sponsored athlete by Obstacle Running Adventures. Great collaboration.
And then if you want more podcast content, head over and listen to Obstacle Running Adventures. We had another one of the new athletes on our team, Sarah Grippy Snyder, is going to be on Obstacle Running Adventures. If it hasn't published already, it'll probably be coming out right around the time this is coming out. And on top of that, if you want more podcast stuff, we have another podcast now called Tiga Tactics Podcast.
How great was World Toughest Mudder? You can still watch it. You can watch the entire 24 hours of the live stream on Tough Mudder's YouTube page, youtube.com/Tough Mudder. One of our other podcast hosts, Mike Stefano from the Obstacle Running Adventures podcast. He wasn't able to be at World Toughest this year. He got married while everyone was out there running for 24 hours. He was out getting married. And so he's been catching up, watching it, literally all 24 hours. I think he's 14 hours into it now. And so if you missed it, go check it out.
You had some really great shots. Just tell me. Okay, to put it in another way, we were had a roundtable podcast with Obstacle Race Adventures, and we kind of spoke about our highlights from the year of things in racing. And I had, a couple of different things, and then Dave Claxton, his highlight was you on that bike.
I'm a little hard on us. You can ask the team. We may never be an A, but we'll damn sure shoot for it.
Well, you did get one great compliment from Mike Stefano, who does Obstacle Running Adventures, and he wasn't even there. But he said from what he watched and from what he saw and people he talked to, he said that he actually could compare it to a WTM, a World's Toughest Mudder-like feel for the weekend, whereas everybody was just having that. They were there for that experience, and it was an experience. And just, while everything might not have been perfect, the people that were there for the right reasons, and everybody was doing their thing. And I thought that was a great compliment, because at times it entered my head that it did have that feel, having been to both.
It's Mappy Davis, and we're still here. Last week, we gave you the perhaps final chapter in the book of OCR with me and Mike Stefano. Got some nice feedback on that one. Me and Mike taking a little trip down memory lane. Go check out that one if you haven't.
The media people, including myself, and you helped me get things set up. And I don't know when it finally hit me. I really honestly couldn't tell you. It's like, that is the same girl from, for one, actually, I learned that it was you from OCRWC podcast because Mike Stefano with Also Running Adventures had interviewed you, a week or so before that, I think.
Another episode of the Strength and Speed podcast. I'm your host, Strength and Speed owner and Mudgear Hannibal Race Pro, Evan Perperis. I had a guest with me on the line. Before we get to him, though, a quick word from this episode's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Obstacle Running Adventures. That's right, another podcast is sponsoring our own podcast. So head over to Obstacle Running Adventures if you want some more coverage, especially if you're in the Northeast. Mike Stefano and Caitlin Ritter, or Caitlin Stefano, I guess now, both live in the Northeast in Massachusetts area, so they cover a lot of those local events up there. I've got one of the most regularly occurring podcasts. They've been producing like episodes every week for I don't know how many years now, 5 years. It's been a hot minute, and you can check them out if you want more content. We know we've dropped the number of episodes we produce just to about 2 per month, and then I also occasionally stray into random topics just like this episode. So if you want pure OCR content plus a little bit of the local events in the Northeast, you can head over and listen to Obstacle Running Adventures.
Me and Mike Stefano were talking about this, and he was asking me, how did you feel about the course? Like, what was the hardest part? And it's like, the climbs were obviously tough. I mean, that's normal, but the obstacles and everything didn't give me any problems. But that sandbag was a real struggle. Definitely the hardest part of the course.
There you have it. Thank you so much for listening. As I mentioned, got something fun coming up. Me and Mike Stefano were texting today, and I said, we were talking about what's going on and how there's less events and what's happening. And I said, let's do a podcast called Why Are We Still Here? And we'll talk about some history, what we love about OCR, and what's happening with us now. So stay tuned for that episode coming. Next week, we're going to record it, or in 2 weeks, we're going to record it. So it'll be up shortly after that. Love ya, miss you, mean it. I've got to run.
Then I went and found Caitlin from Obstacle Running Adventures and went and hung out with her while we watched Mike Stefano and his friends finish as well, Jimmy and Angela. While I finished in my race in 2 hours and 42 minutes, they started at 8 o'clock in age group, and they took 5.5 hours. So this was quite a long time that I didn't have any more sodium, and I started to feel it. By the time they got...
Lastly, before I get going, wanted to give a quick shout out to Obstacle Running Adventures. I was just on their podcast a couple weeks ago. If you listen to our last episode of Strength and Speed Podcast, you know I hit my 100th podium. So talked with Mike Stefano. He did more of a deep dive into that, and then we hit up on a bunch of other topics. It was kind of a random episode. We bounced around all different sorts of topics. So even if you listen to my 100th podcast episode where we talked with the toughest team on the last Strength and Speed podcast, I would still head over to Obstacle Running Adventures because we really strayed into a whole bunch of different topics in the hour long we were recording. We were bouncing around, covering kind of like state of the OCR industry a little bit.
And Chris Rogowski and Mike Stefano both offered up their phones because they had AT&T. And so we were able to pass those off to a couple of the rabbits and use those instead. So that was fantastic. Very, very thankful for them helping out there.
That's pretty much about all I know about it. But when I was thinking of this interview, I thought of what questions would I ask if I was planning to do my first adventure race. Mm-hmm. And you were talking to the checkpoints, and I heard in the interview you did with Mike at Obstacle Running Adventures that, you know, like if in the racing sense, you get more points by each checkpoint.
Themed pretty cool too. Like the bathrooms, the men's bathroom is themed in the Beatles, and so they're playing Beatles music just in the bathroom. And the women's bathroom, Caitlin said, not that I saw it, Caitlin said was themed in Elvis. And then there was like a whole display of Transformers and just.
I will have other obligations, and as my kids get older, I want to spend more time with them because they're growing to little tiny adult, little tiny humans. So I know when I was talking to Mike Stefano, we were talking about podcast numbers, and my podcast numbers have not. I looked. I rarely look, but I look occasionally. A lot of times when I go to upload a new episode, I'll see the numbers. They have not returned to pre-COVID numbers. I'd say they're about, depending on the episode, half to a third of what pre-COVID numbers were for podcast episodes. So if you want the podcast to continue, please spread it around or spread my books around.
Yeah, I was doing some other work this weekend and at this race, and this guy was there who has a podcast about obstacle racing, and he's interviewing it. He's interviewing all the competitors and participants, and he goes, yeah, let me talk to you about stuff too. So he did an interview, and you have a podcast? I'm like, yeah, everybody has a podcast. But when I explained what 3324 meant, he's like, oh my God, that's the greatest thing. So for people that kind of get what 3324 means, that this is the podcast for you. Then if you understand what that means, then you found the right spot.
Talking about The Office with Mike and Caitlin and all that fun stuff. So I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, hour 36.
And you said on the interview you did with Mike, too, is that you've made your checkpoints in your races are kind of easier to find.
You can work on mindset. There's all sorts of mindset skill training. One of our pro team partners is 3GX Mental Training, Sarah Grippy Snyder. So anyone listen to Obstacle Running Adventures, she was just recently on that podcast last month. She's got a whole bunch of mental tips. You can work on stuff like that. The book, How Bad Do You Want It? My book on endurance has a bunch of tips as well.
All that stuff. And there wasn't really a good just chatting about it. Mm. So we kind of filled that hole. And I think it was more, you got Mike and Obstacle Running Adventures in the Northeast. And so we kind of covered South and Central, all those different races like Conquer the Gauntlet and such.
Lovethepodcast.com/OCR. And 3, listen to some more podcasts. Listen to the new episode of Obstacle Running Adventures. You can listen to the new episode of World's Toughest Podcast. And leave reviews for those shows too.
Like how they implement penalties. I know on Obstacle Running Adventures, they were talking about with Maltby how the penalties, he wanted to make them harder this year. And he said something along the lines of a mile of running on some penalty, which I would be fine with if it counted. But since it doesn't count, that sounds...
So when I spoke to Giles last year,
like we did a few shows of like just chatting, kind of like podcast style shows with people from, me and Anna Landry from the OCR Talk, Mike and Caitlin from Obstacle Running Adventures, Kim DeVos from OCR Coven. And so we did a few shows like that just to kind of test the platform.
Head over to teamstrengthspeed.com and check out Obstacle Running Adventures. Just an interview with them, talking a little bit more about 100 podiums. And then I've got a whole bunch of articles coming out on the OCR report.
Heather White, Kelly Sullivan not officially a member of Team OFX, but a sponsored athlete by our buddies at Obstacle Running Adventures. Her and Heather teamed up for the High Rocks women's doubles in Chicago and came first in like an epic battle where they won by like 12 seconds or something like that.
I love them this weekend. That's the other thing I did. I thought, you know what? We're only on this planet so long. So certain people, I just said, listen, I want to tell you that I love you. JD Allen, I love you. Javier Escobar, I love you. Mike Stefano, I love you. That's what I did when I saw those guys. Because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed that World's Toughest Mudder will be here forever. Maybe Spartan closes it. Maybe Spartan goes.
article about like the open wave side and some of the things I think I've learned that I think everyone should take in as they kind of go through their OCR journey. And then we also when I talked to Mike, I talked a little bit about like, obviously the feeling of accomplishment, but also like sometimes when you hit a big goal, I'm sure you guys have all felt this, where like you hit the goal and then you're like, and now what? You're a little lost. So me and Mike talked about that a little bit. So check out the Obstacle Running Adventures.
Glamorization, so to speak, of guns, and that's not something that I'm big on. So yeah, like from that perspective, is that something that we should be throwing out there? I don't know. Something to think about. I know what Mike Stefano would say. He would be a no. He would be a no. Yeah. He would definitely be a no on that. Yeah. So maybe, here's the thing. Maybe the pistols will be a colossal failure.
When people ask me how far I ran, 80 it is. I ran 80 miles at World's Toughest for 2023. I also had Mike Stefano from Obstacle Running Adventures ask me if this was going to be my last individual World's Toughest Mudder. I had posted that I would likely be my last individual one on Instagram probably about a week before the race. And that is likely the case. Unless something drastic changes, I will switch the team or come in a different capacity next year. Maybe do media if I decide not to do team. Or maybe help out at one of the obstacles. We'll see. Nothing personal. I just, after 9 years and the amount of time it requires to train and prepare for something, a 24-hour championship at the level I would like to perform at, it's just a lot of time taken away.
Awesome learning experience. And, man, everybody should do it at least once, But I met a really cool guy there, and I heard about him on the Running Public and Obstacle Running Adventures, recent episode, where Mike was talking to him pre-World's Toughest Mudder, and it was a really cool conversation, and it made me keep my eyes out for him while I was on course. And then I met him at the brunch, and he was a super cool dude.
I feel like everyone, if you don't know, there's the OCR report. That is our parent organization. But then we have a bunch of stuff underneath it, like inside of it. We have World's Toughest Podcast. We have our live streaming. We have our social media. We have Obstacle Running Adventures, Mike and Caitlin. Congratulations, Mike and Caitlin. They got married the day of World's Toughest Mudder.
Check. All righty.
No pressure.
Have I ever interviewed you before?
No.
Have you been interviewed by anybody before?
Mike Stefano.
Of course.
Yep.
We love Mike Stefano. Yeah. Do you know what he's doing this weekend?
Getting married.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike, mazel tov. I know you're listening to this program. He's a big fan of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me your name, where you're from.
Happy wedding, Mike. Mike and Caitlin. Kelly, Glenn.
The KG Bean. What are you again?
Well, dude, I know a little bit about you. I listened to your interview on the Running Public and Obstacle Running Adventures that you did right before you went to World's Toughest Mudder. I know you live in Durango. I know that you host people.
Katie and Leia finagled the performers that were there on their stage to give me and Chris Mendoza the stage. So I'm in the middle of a different interview, and they run over and they're like, "Hallie, stop what you're doing. You're going to sing." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
I wanted to be. I don't want to be gritty. I want to have fun. I want to leave the watch at home, and that's how I want to do it.
Yeah, so I was listening to your interview on Obstacle Running Adventures, and you were talking about, and I didn't know you besides listening to your interview on the Running Public podcast, and I was like, this is just some cool guy, he lives in Durango, he trips out and runs and trains all the time, right? And it was like, it was a different person I heard on Mike's interview. You sounded cocky, and you were like, I'm going to get this, it's going to be done, this is what I'm going to do, and I was like, man, this guy's pretty sure of himself. And then you're like, I'm probably not going to use a wetsuit. And I'm like,
I'm going to give a quick shout out to Obstacle Running Adventures. So Mike from Obstacle Running Adventures sent me a clip of the Accountability Corner podcast. It's a podcast in the UK by a couple of British guys who run OCRs. Seem pretty good. And one of them made a joke about writing a book. And then one of the other ones was like, there are books on obstacle course racing. And they got like, really? And then this dude over in the UK had my book, and he referenced it and said it was pretty good, which I appreciate the compliment. And Mike is the one who had sent me that clip over to me. So I appreciate the work he's doing and giving me a shout out and sharing those clips.
So Mike from Obstacle Running Adventures recorded it, and I shared it because I thought it was super cool that you and Chris were up there. So how many songs did you sing?
We sang 2. So we sang.
What was the one that he shared? Because I was trying to figure out what song that was.
I forget which of the ones. So we sang Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan and then Growing Sideways by Noah Kahan. And those are two of our favorite artists, Chris and I.
I listened to your interview on Obstacle Running Adventures, and you said that you were located in New York, and now have you permanently moved to Anthony's Ultra House, is what he calls it out there?
I was almost emotional. I didn't cry or nothing like that, but I was really happy. And I think it was Jack Bauer who said to me, "Hey, congrats, you belonged." And I'm like, that was a great compliment. So if that was Jack, indeed, was either Jack or Matt or Mike Stefano. It was one of those three, because those are the three I talked to at the finish line. One of those guys. Thank you very much. That meant the world to me, even though I can't remember who said it.
M. Stefano running.
Why is the only one I can think of like Fat Grips?
It's good. We don't shout them out enough anyway.
Yeah, we really don't. But yeah, Rock Tape, I use their stuff a lot.
Aurora.
Oh yeah, I use their jackets all the time. Yep.
Yeah. OCR Buddy, Obstacle Running Adventures, Leg Mitt, Strength and Speed, Volition Chiropractic, Juice Performer.
It really is. It's just okay. And that's always stuck with me when I'm out by myself on a long run and I start, it's like, it's okay to be a little cold. It's okay to be a little hungry. Like, it really is okay. And, when we did World's Toughest, I think the first or second Atlanta year, my buddy Mike Stefano, Obstacle Running Adventures, I was filming whatever. I came back and I went to his tent. I said, "Where's Mike?" They said, "He's in the medical tent." And he had gotten into his head that he was just going to chill out at the medical tent for who knows how long. I think he was going to quit.
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm like, no, you're getting back out there. And for whatever reason, that just tricked his mind, and he thanked me for it afterwards. And all I did was just be someone outside of his own head to say, and even his pit crew wasn't able to do it because she was, nothing wrong with what she had said, but just one other person outside of their own head saying, "You actually need to put your gloves on and get out of here," snapped him right back into shape.
Yeah. And that's your role.
If you don't get enough of Lisa here, make sure you check out Obstacle Running Adventures. They just had her on there last week as well. Here's the interview with Lisa Masacchio.
Obstacle Running Adventures still hanging in there after all these years.
And then we can start preparing for the outro unless we got some more questions. Thanks already for the platform. Yeah, thank you for coming on. You're another awesome person out there that I've heard a lot about. And I'm like, you know what? I got this podcast. I have the opportunity to learn more about him. Now, I could have just shot you an Instagram message and we could have talked there too, but it just feels much nicer to have a conversation, put it out there, have more people learn about awesome people in the community. So I love it. I love you guys. And it's a lot of work, more work than you can imagine. I'm not, curing cancer or anything over here, but I'd like to think that I'm doing good. So that's why I do what I do.
Thank you for everybody that tuned in live and have been supporting us for the last 400 episodes, related episodes. We have episode
100, which, let me scroll. Usually I write these out, but I'm having trouble here now. Oh boy.
Episode 100 with a live intro and Sansa Hustle 5K.
Yeah, probably not the most exciting one, but you can go back to that. Episode
200.
Scroll.
Episode 200 live Q&A with a podcast shout-out compilation.
Don't hurt yourself. Compilation.
Yeah,
which is essentially what this one is as well. 300. Scroll. I'm pretty sure that was OCR World Championships there.
Oh, OCR World Championships 15K.
15. 14.
OCR.
Sorry. OCR World Championships 15K with elites and vendors. Oh, and episode 300 with live intro, outro, and shoutout compilation. So you can go back and listen to those. I'm sure that's going to be the best of them. That's a doozy of an episode there. But yeah, thank you so much for the support. Another thing that I want to shout out to, I didn't really make a post or anything about it, but we have had in total only 400 episodes. Only 400 episodes. Gotta get my air quotes there. We have had over, this is all I have, collections of people that have said their full names and all that, 1,037 guests on the show. Let's say that one more time. In 400 episodes, we have had 1,037 guests on. And each one, as Caitlin says, has their own story to tell. You're important to the community. I love it. It's incredible. I don't even know if, I'm sure with Obstacle Racing Media having 1,000 episodes, he's had more people than that. But yeah, some other things.
That's averaging 2.6 guests per episode.
Yeah, which is crazy because a lot of episodes are one-on-one. But Yeah, and then also like keeping track of this helps me like, hey, I don't know that person, let me interview them so I don't get caught in my own bubble there. And then
subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts. We are Obstacle Running Adventures. And I didn't have to read the sign this time.
I know, because you're facing away from it. I also talked about how Caitlin and I have been consistently doing the podcast thing for a while now, but she hasn't missed an episode, and she has been the sole co-host since that episode that I referenced earlier. And on episode 394 with Kaylee Winsma, that was a 300th episode that we've done together in a row.
Oh,
and
should I have
this will be
300?
This will be episode 306. Before that, we had like previous co-hosts and all that stuff. So that was another.
Yeah,
thing
we
too.
used to like when I was in Chicago for work. You would like Zoom me in before before COVID.
Yeah, I mean, there's been interviews where like, and this is all like Patreon stuff too. Is if we do virtual like intro and outro over Zoom, we'll post that and stuff too. There's been ones where Caitlin's in Chicago or I'm in Vegas or whatever. So. It's been a lot of stuff.
Yeah. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review, but most importantly, share us with your friends.
Yes, really need to get more people listening to the show again. Downloads were great, and then COVID happened, and then things were building back up, and things are kind of wonky again. But more support would be great. The more support we get from the community, the more support we can give to the people that we have on the show. That's my ultimate goal. I want power, guys. Like, give me the power, and I'm going to try to use it to kind of highlight people that are awesome. She always makes fun of me for saying that. It sounds kind of goofy, but that kind of is what it is. What you got? You're scrolling, looking for something?
I was scrolling, looking for the outtake sounds that we're going to listen to.
Oh, okay. I could put that in the... Well, it's hard to kind of... It'd be best to play it over here. Where are we in the show notes, though? What's going on?
Follow us on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook and Threads.
Yeah.
Charlotte Engelman says, congrats on all the work you two have put in. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Charlotte. Hopefully, hoping to see you in Florida if you'll be going. I know I typically see you at World's Toughest Mudder. Always lovely seeing you there.
Do you think they'd pick Florida as the venue since Taylor Swift dropped a song called Florida?
No, I don't. I roll. I can roll for you guys. The podcast won't pick it up.
Maybe my podcast would just be me saying things that make my husband eye roll.
The eye roll podcast or something.
Joe Rucco says, love it. Congrats on 400.
Thank you. If you can support us on Patreon, fills it as $2, as many as $10. We have to do like 2 Patreon videos today. It's going to give a lot more context as to what the show is going to look like next year.
Patreon video. We just dropped this recording.
What the show is going to... Well, we're going to save this to Instagram if it's not too long. But what the show is going to be like next year, what's happening with all the Patreon money, all that stuff is going to be the next couple Patreon videos. Then we'll be caught up to September, which is today. Coming up next, we're going to be covering the Boulder Dash OCR. Like I said, this is their final Boulder Dash, Boulder Dash OCR, which is crazy because they've been putting this on since 2011. So that is a little bit of a bummer there, but we will try our best to make sure it goes out with a bang and not a whimper, as some often do. Caitlin, do you have a joke or a quote? Make sure it doesn't play any music. Oh. Yeah.
My joke is, why was the baby jalapeno shivering?
I accidentally saw the answer.
Oh, go ahead then.
He was a little chilly.
He was a little chilly.
That's good.
I like that.
And then we're going to wrap it up with a quote, which Caitlin just randomly opened up Pinterest. She's going to click something. That's a banana. That's a banana.
It says, advice from a banana. Always be ready when the time is ripe. Friends are better by the bunch. Just because someone calls you...
Yella,
it doesn't mean you're a coward. I don't understand that.
It's a Western...
Oh. Ignore all the monkeys. They're just trying to get to you. Sometimes when you're slightly bruised, it's when you're at your very best, and life's little surprises are what make it so appealing.
Nice. All right. Well, that just about wraps it up. My name is Michael Stefano.
And my name is Caitlin Ritter.
And we'll talk to you next week, episode 401, which is still a lot, just less of a milestone than 400.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe to our show and write us a review on your favorite podcast app.
You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook and connect with us there.
Most importantly, we would appreciate it if you shared an episode with a friend so we can reach more ears
and continue to effectively shine a light on the people in our sport, as well as the events that we are so passionate about.
intro song is Streaker by Straight Up, and our outro music is Iron Call by The Best.
God, I hope not. Oh, there's no good way to do this.
Oh, that's perfect.
This would be perfect. All right, hold this kind of like that.
You want me to hold
or I'll
it?
hold it, yeah, because I can find something that'll be, boom. Using the mentor.
There are people joining, so make sure you say hello.
Cool beans, hello.
Oh, lots of people.
You can't really tell the balloons in the background. This is how we're going to do
They're
it.
giant.
Yes.
400 balloons. Not 400 balloons.
400 balloons.
But the number
Yes.
400.
400. We know how to...
It is hot in this room.
It is. I'd say we should open the
Spicy.
window, but I don't trust the outside noises.
Are you feeling spicy? There's so many people joining us. Hi.
Yes, we have 6. Thank
Sarah
you.
Corbett.
Yeah.
Ian. Your grandfather. J2.
46891.
Make sure you're waving to all these people.
But then I'm reverse knocking it down.
Would they rather be waved to or knocked down?
We'll wave in the traditional sense.
Should we get started?
Yeah. Do you have the notes?
I have the notes.
We are recording.
I have another secret thing up my sleeve, just so you know. I have 2 surprises for you.
Oh boy, we're in short sleeves and everything. For me, I thought the surprise was, "Hey, Caitlin, can you rearrange the office so we can record?" And he said, "What? Break the microphone?"
I did break the microphone.
Where's the other? So how did you break it?
It fell off this table.
Yeah.
You heard that crash.
Yes.
And then it got broken. This thing got broken. The thingy inside the thing.
But we have this one, which is...
This is a gift.
Somewhat better. Yeah, I was going to get like a really nice one, and then we got this one.
People aren't getting sound.
What?
Oh, I guess you need to close the app and then come back.
Okay.
That's so
Instagram's been super
I've had that
super
problem
wonky
too.
lately. Yeah, I've been having a lot of issues with that. Sometimes like I'm clicking the mute thing and
the TikTok never makes me like finagle putting sound on.
Yeah, I like how TikTok you can play at 2 times speed.
Oh yes. Do you think people would like to play us at 2 times speed?
I mean, I listen to podcasts at 1.5 speed.
You know what I would love to 2.5 speed? That movie last night.
Oh, watching Lawrence of Arabia. It's good. It was made in 1962, and it's good, but it's long.
Oh, people are saying that closing and reopening the app works.
Okay.
I love that the community is working.
But let's get to the intro and stuff. So we're going to do like the intro,
so here's
quick
our
news
notes.
and all that stuff. Yes.
So episode 400.
Well, should we say...
Oh. Are you ready for this?
Sure, you play that.
Hey, this is Fran. I'm Shamu, and I just wanted to say congratulations on your 400th episode. I'm so stupid.
Thank you, Fran. That was really kind. I don't know why you're making that voice to make you sound like Jack, though.
And then there's this one.
Yeah, my name is...
Oh, wait, no, that wasn't it.
That sounded pretty funny.
I don't know if I have permission to share that one.
Okay.
I have been a part of 0 podcasts. I'm 400 episodes.
Not true.
That's less than 0%.
Not true.
So I don't know if I'm in the right position to say congratulations.
Not
I'm
true.
just going to say sadulations, because I haven't been a part of any podcast.
Oh, shit, Jack.
From the Mike and Caitlin podcast, which honestly, I forgot what it was called for a second.
A lot of people do.
Hold on.
That's okay, take your time.
Brain hurts. Anyways, congratulations, I guess. Carlo sucks, Fran sucks, and apparently Dustin is not that much cooler anymore.
Yeah, I love Dustin. All right, so I looked up your name, and you're recording me? This is weird. I'm on live. She's recording a voice message to the OSA report, and I'm recording the podcast. But Jack, damn it, you were on episode 359 and 360.
We should do a Jack exclusive.
So he was on 2 episodes. Oh, I've been wanting to have him on for his own episode. He knows that. Sometime, yeah. All right, we can end it now? We can end it now.
We can end it now. Somebody just joined us.
We just ended. Thank you guys so much. And we're done recording this. Done with the live thing. 400 episodes.
To eat cake.
Time to eat cake. Let us eat cake. Thank you guys.
Bye.
But I also want to save it so it posts. End now. And then share, right?